It's October 12th and we're finally picking the Wentzel grapes. The Pinot 2.0 grapes are coming out of the vineyard. It's 7 a.m., it's 38 degrees, and the crew is already out here picking. I'm Alan Becker, the Cellar Rat, and welcome to the Pinot 2.0 video podcast, Harvest Day edition. Damn, it feels good to finally say that. Let's go track down Roland Wentzel and figure out what's on the docket for today and how long it's going to take us to get these grapes out of the vineyard. So it's October 12th. We finally made it to harvest. Tell me about what you're thinking about. End of a long road here.
It's been a long pull. This is a fairly late harvest, and it's cool, as you can tell. You're dressed for the occasion. Yeah, just one of the things that really struck me about today is that this is the culmination of 5 years of really hard work, and Mauricio and all the guys who work here have done all the work. We laid the vineyard out, we planted, and we pruned and maintained, and this is basically the first commercial harvest.
So as you see these grapes that you all have been working 5 years to get this first harvest, what are you thinking as they're finally leaving the vineyard?
Enormous amount of satisfaction, just satisfaction, just wonderful. It's in a beautiful spot. Aesthetically, this is I envy Mauricio. He gets to come and work here all the time in this beautiful place. I have to go away sometimes.
So tell me about working out here in these rolling hills and these forests.
Well, this is pretty nice to do this. Everything is different, but we focus on the vineyards to have a good result like this year. And everybody's happy because this is the first time in 5 years.
The grapes look absolutely beautiful. Are you feeling some regret watching them go away?
Yeah.
So you guys are moving pretty fast. How much fruit are you picking today? Do you know how much this will be?
It's gonna be like 8 tons, I think, around 6 to 8. Yeah.
So how much does each one of those bins weigh that they're dumping into the larger bin?
I think it's about 20-25 pounds.
Okay, so they're doing this for 4 or 5 hours. That's a lot of lifting.
Oh yeah, that's heavy work. Yeah, pretty hard.
The Wentzel crew of 10 men started before 7 a.m. and wrapped up picking about 11:30 that morning. They don't get paid by the hour when it comes to harvest. They get paid by the ton. So these guys are very interested in getting the grapes off the vine and into the bins. The Wentzels pay $130 per ton, and they picked 7 tons that day. So the 10-man crew splits that money, and they each earned $91 for their 4.5 hours of work. So that's an hourly rate of a little more than $20 an hour, which is about twice what these guys would average hourly in the summer working for other vineyards, where they typically get something like 12 bucks an hour at the high end for various jobs. This varies widely, and I did not ask Roland what he pays his full-time crew of 5 guys. I was on my way to catch Casey Hartlip, who you've seen in previous Pinot 2.0 podcasts, to figure out how, after a long season, they get these grapes to come through looking so amazingly beautiful. Grapes hanging just before harvest is truly one of the most beautiful things in the world. At least I think so. We also had a good showing from the Rat Pack, who showed up to help pick that day, and I caught up with a couple of those folks to get their impressions of what they saw. Okay, so we've been trying our hand at picking, and Scott Wren is here. You're part of the group. Have you ever done a pick before?
Never done a pick. It's early morning. It's crisp. I can barely get these things off of the vine.
So what strikes you as you go into this? What stands out as kind of what did you expect or not expect?
The thing that stands out is really the flavor of the grapes.
Yeah.
I mean, just they're unbelievable, you know. I could eat these over table grapes any day. And it was like they said, you know, it's like beautiful color. It's like Casey's saying, it's explosive. It's just, you know, I get wine now after tasting these grapes. You know, I can sort of see how it gets to be wine. So that's the most amazing thing.
So do you think you could pick grapes for a living?
No, definitely not. I think I'm the end of my career is going to be in about an hour.
Okay, David, you're here all the way from Puerto Rico. You're struggling with this cold weather a little bit.
I wasn't quite ready for this.
So what are you finding out here?
I'm just impressed by the management. Just the beauty of the grapes here is really impressive.
So enough work for you?
Yeah, man. More than I can handle.
Okay, so I'm here with Casey Hartlip, and we want to talk a little bit about the actual grapes that are on the vine. There's some pretty amazing fruit in this vineyard this year. Casey, talk about how you go about getting things to look so beautiful here.
Oh, well, I mean, first of all, nature has most to do with how beautiful this really looks. We're just, you know, we just kind of try to stay out of the way. But what we're really trying to do with Pinot or almost any other grape is spacing and separation of the fruit. We don't want a lot of fruit laying on top of each other. So that's number one key. So when we go through and prune, we try to have spacing between all of our spurs. And we try to have one handprint between each spur right here, and that helps keep fruit separated. And then if we have to, in the late summer, we'll come through and actually drop a cluster to, if you get a cluster laying on top of one like this, you're not getting enough sun on it, you can have rot problems because not enough air and sunlight.
And so that's a lot of labor. This all kicked off early in the spring. In May, things started growing. Talk about this beautiful fruit we're looking at right now.
Right. Well, I mean, this actually started in January and February when the guys pruned these vines and spend months going through hand pruning each vine.
Right. This stuff tastes amazing. I mean, most people never get to taste a wine grape before it like shows up in the bottle. So talk a little bit about how this is different than most grapes.
I mean, I can't. I mean, it's just magic. It really is. Why is this so special? Why does this taste so good? Because it's the right grape in the right place.
Okay, so we're almost done here. We're just about through the last block of grapes of the day. The sun's out, it's beautiful. It was 38 when we got here. It's like 70 now. It's absolutely gorgeous out here. But what does it actually amount to? What we end up with are these half-ton bins full of grapes. Crazy as it seems, this one bin is going to turn into just a little bit more than a barrel full of wine, which gives you 25 cases or 300 bottles. So this entire half-ton of grapes is going to give you 300 bottles of wine. It takes a lot of work to get a bottle of wine. So there we were with 7 tons of beautiful Pinot Noir. And as these bins got loaded to the truck for the drive back to San Francisco, we turned around and there was a beautiful meal set up in the vineyard to celebrate the harvest with the crew. The Wentzels could not have been more generous. The fuel from the glazed donut, the convenience store glazed donut and several cups of coffee had pretty much worn out by this point, so this meal was a perfect end to a perfect morning out in the vineyard. We'll pick up in the next Pinot 2.0 podcast with our evening crush at Crush Pad, where we had a great turnout from the Rat Pack. If you're curious about the Pinot 2.0 wine and how you might get your hands on some, check out cellarat.org for information on that, and you'll also find other in-depth interviews with some of the folks we talked with today. And if you want to join the Rat Pack, check out crushnet.com to see how to join us. I'm Alan Baker, the Cellar Rat, and I will be back with you soon.